Hello, everybody. Welcome to my sensory marketing presentation. This is about chapter 6 and 5 and 6. The chapter 5 is sensory for smell, and the chapter 6 is sensory for touch. First, we will explore the power of smell. That is the power smell in sensory marketing, one of the most underrated, just most emotionally impactful sense in the reason of marketing. Our focus will be on how sense, through often invisible, play a critical role in shaping how consumers perceive, remember, and emotionally connect with friends, product, or services. From the biological mechanism in our nose to the emotional and cultural significance of sense to the real world application and in service environment and branding strategies. We will unpack how marketer can utilize sense not just as a sensory feature but like as a strategic asset. Let's start with a big question, that is, why should marketer care so much about smell? First, scent is directly linked to the brand emotional and memory centers, making it more powerful than sight or sound when it comes to unconscious influence. The research shows that up to 75% of emotions are triggered by smell. This is a huge figure considering how many marketing strategy over rely on visuals and neglect this invisible sense. In an era of sensory overload, the sense offers a unique and often underused way for brands to differentiate and create lasting impressions. This is thinking about mm, you walk into a bakery and the warm smell of the bread can trigger the comfort before you even look at the menu. And this is emotional influence of smell happening in like mere seconds. So to understand the marketing power of sense, we need to look inside our body, specifically our brain. The olfactory system connects directly to limbic system, including the amygdala or the hippocampus. This is the region responsible for emotion and memory. This connection is unique among five senses. Other senses like vision or hearing are processed via the thalamus. That's a sort of relay station that filters and delays information, but smell take a shortcut. This direct path mean the sense reach our emotional brain faster than any other sensory input. And often this is within 300 million seconds. That's why a single whiff can make you nostalgic, hungry, relax, or even anxious before brand, your conscious brain even catch up. So for marketer, this is mean sense offer the fastest route to emotional engagement with customer. And the smell is not only biological, it is also deeply cultural and symbolic. Across the civilizations, the sense has carried spiritual, social, and emotional meaning. In ancient Egypt, incense was used in temples and burials, bu- burial rituals to symbolize the purification and transition to afterlife. And in Japan, the practice of kodo, or the art of appreciating incense, well, elevates sense into a cultural and aesthetics experience. In Vietnamese culture, burning, trầm hương or agar wood during the ancestral rituals signifies respect and connection to one's roots. And in the West, uh, lavender is associated with the cleanliness and calm, while peppermint is linked to the alertness and energy. These associations are not fixed. They learn through tradition, upbringing, and context. So, for marketer, cultural awareness is essential during when using scent. And now, let's dig deeper into how we process the sense emotionally before um, rationalize. Because the sense bypasses the uh, thalamus, so our brain doesn't interpret it through logic or meaning first. It reacts emotionally. And this is why you might feel comfort by the smell of vanilla without necessarily knowing it's vanilla. It is energized by uh, energized by um, citrus without identifying the exact fruits. In fact, studies show that most people can recognize the emotion of a smell faster than they can name it. So this is crucial in marketing that people won't stop and analyze the sense of a store or product, but they will feel something like relaxed, irritated, uplift, based purely on the olfactory stimulus and smell become a must filter, shaping how we experience a space or a brand on a subconscious level. This brings us to one of the most fascinating psychological phenomena tied to smell, that is the Prussian memory effect. Coins after by Marcel Proust, who described how the smell of a cake unlocked an entire child memory. This effect refers to uh, sense ability to trigger the vivid emotion and long-lasting memory. And neurologically, this happens because olfactory bulb is embedded in the brain memory circuits. Smell evokes memories are not only stronger than visual or auditory ones, they are also more emotional and immersive. And for marketer, this is gold. By consistently using signature scent, a brand can build emotional recall. For example, like the smell of baby powder can instantly transport you to childhood, creating the nostalgia, safety, and also trust. Imagine a baby product brand using this effect strategically. A sense can become a form of emotional branding. However, smell is not universal. One person comfort sense as another discomfort. Our sense preferences are shaped by upbringing, cultural exposure, or even the personal memory. Take durian, as in South Asia, is considered as a delicacy, but in many Western contexts, it's perceived as a repulsive. Or consider the sandalwood, is, which may evoke spirituality in Indian context, but simply smell like wood somewhere else. That's why the audience testing is essential in sense marketing. If you're introducing scent into a retail or service space, you need to be aware of your customer demographic or background, also the smell tolerance levels. And misstep here can create discomfort or um, alienates certain segments. So now let's look at how scents play out in the surface environments. Ambience science. Ambient scent has been shown to elevate the perceived cleanliness, friendliness, and even service quality. And in hospitality, hotels use warm or courtesy scents to create a welcoming environment. And in retail, the stores use floral or woody notes to slow customer down and enhance experience. But here's the key: this is the uh, congruence. This is the sense must match with the environment. For instance, lavender works in spa, but not in a tech store. In a supermarket, using lemony cleaning smell can create um, increase the perception of hygiene, and in short, scents should align with the brand personality and also the customer expectation, or is a risk creating cognitive dissonance. Mm, and uh, And one more thing that is smell doesn't just affect perception, it's also drive the behavior. The research show that the pleasant sense can increase through time, how long people stay in a store or a space, so they can also influence the spending behavior. When people are in a better mood due to sense exposure, they are more likely to make impulse purchase or feel satisfied with the time spent. So, interestingly, the sense can even alter the time perception, making waste time feel shorter. So, the right sense doesn't just make the place feel nice, it can actively improve the bottom line. And the sense also be built into product identity and brand memory. This is often done through the signature scents, like perfume used in retail environments or scents infused packaging. Luxury hotel or wellness bars, or even some real estate showrooms, have custom the cyan profiles. The Abercrombie and Fitch, for example, became famous for diffusing its cologne throughout every store, making the sense as uh, recognizable as the logo. And brand can also explore in the scented business cards, um, fragrance or base fragrance based storytelling, and even the sense logo, where the smell become a core part of brand sensory footprint. And this approach not only reinforced identity but also ensure the brand felt, not just seen. So, a great example of integrated sense marketing is Singapore Airlines. They use a custom design fragrance called the Stephen Floridan's Waters, diffuse subtly across the tower, cabins, even the flight attendant perfume. And this scent, light, elegant, and floral, was carefully chosen to align with their brand positioning, this king, premium, and Asian influence. The consistency across all the touch points reinforce the emotional memory and create a signature experience that is subtle, just uncomfortable. It is also adds in dimensions of luxury, where even the air become part of the brand narrative. This is a masterclass in multi-sensory branding done right. And in conclusion, the smells hold immense untapped potential in marketing is connected directly to the emotional and memory centers of our brand. It shapes perception, behavior, and brand experience often before a single word is read or heard. Yet it remains mm, underutilized by many brands by integrating the sense in a um, thoughtful, um, cultural, culturally sensitive, and strategically aligned way. Marketers can unlock a powerful competitive advantage, one too, one that is not only attract attention but linger in memory. So the next time you design a brand experience, just ask yourself that's not just what should it look like, but what should it smell like. Move on to the next part is chapter number 6 about touch, the power of touch in sensory marketing. So, today we'll explore the powerful yet opens overlooked sense in marketing. This is about the touch because touch is a very first sense we develop as a human. Even before sight or hearing is play a crucial role in bonding, emotional regulation, and perception of safety. In marketing context, touch isn't just about physical contact. Is a powerful way to create emotional connection, communicate quality, and influence decision. And the research also showed that the people feel more connected and trusting towards individual or brand that incorporate touch whether through texture, temperature, or pressure. The absence or presence of touch can change the consumer willingness to purchase, their evaluation of service quality, and even their emotional state during the shopping process. And in this presentation, we'll dive into how the science of touch intersects with consumer psychology and how brand can strategically use it to shape the memorable experiences. So let's begin by understanding how touch works biologically. Our skin is our body's largest sensory organ, filled with the thousand of uh, receptor sensory, receptor sensitive to temperature, pressure, texture, and also vibration. These receptor called as the mechanoreceptors send signals through the spinal cord to the stomatosensory cortex, which is the region responsible for interpreting the touch. Interestingly, different parts of the body have different level of sensitivity. For example, our fingertip and lips have far more tactile receptor than our back or legs. This explains why we use our hand too often to assess the product quality. From a marketing standpoint, this physiological process matters because touch is processes uh, extremely fast, often before cognitive awareness kicks in. So, what is the result? That is, we feel before we think. Moreover, the touch isn't just physical, it's deeply emotional. Certain types of touch can regulate stress, trigger memory, and even release the oxytocin, the hormone associated with trust and bonding. When the brand understands how body processes touch, they can craft environments and products that feel intuitively pleasant and emotionally engaging. And now let's look at how the psychologically powerful touch is. Touch functions as a kind of emotional shorthand. A simple gesture like a handshake, a pat on the back, or the feeling of comforting surface can communicate emotions more deeply and quickly than words. In fact, studies show that nonverbal touch can improve cooperation, increase the compliance and foster a sense of connectedness. For example, a light touch from a waiter has been shown to increase tipping up to 20% simply because customer felt a sense of warmth and also personal attention. And branding, the material customer interact with, such as packaging or store display, can also evoke the specific emotions. Raw textures can suggest richness and also authenticity, while smooth surface can convey the luxury or modernity. The emotional tone of a touch, whether intentional or embedded in the product, that can fundamentally alter how people perceive your brand, making them feel more welcome, confident, or excited. So, touch doesn't just feel good; it helps us to remember. Have you ever noticed how holding an object in your hand can make you feel more connected to it? That's because tactile interaction engaged haptic memory that form a memory encoded through physical sensation. When customers touch a product, they are more likely to form stronger memories or of it compared to simply seeing or hearing about it. This is known as the endowment effect. People tend to assign more value to something they physically hold. For instance, in a study, participants who held a coffee mug for just 30 seconds were willing to pay more for it than who didn't touch it at all. Brands can use this insight by encouraging the hand-on interaction with products, especially like in some category like fashion or furniture or electronics, where the tactical feedbacks help build the emotional ownership. Even digital interface have attempt to stimulate this effect through haptics feedback, adding vibration or stimulates the texture to deepen the user engagement. So one more important note that is why touch is powerful. It's also deeply personal and culturally variable. In some culture, like in Latin America or Middle East, physical touch is common and welcomed. Handshakes, hugs, or light touch can be a part of everyday interaction. But in others, such as in Japan, South Korea, or much of Scandinavia, people tend to maintain more physical distance, and touch may be perceived as invasive or uncomfortable. On an individual level, age, gender, personality, and past experience also shape how people respond to the touch. For example, introvert customers or those from trauma sensitive backgrounds can find certain touch elements anxiety inducing. That's why when applying touch in marketing, whether it's a tactical product surface or in-person interaction, it is essential to test and adapt based on the audience comfort zone. Sensitivity and cultural intelligence are the key to using touch that in the ways that feel inviting rather than the alienating. So, Let's zoom into how touch is applied in service marketing, from coffee shops and hotels to banks and also clinics. In this setting, the the tactic, the tactical experience is more often subconscious, but it plays a critical role in how customers perceive the quality and care of service. For example, soft seating fabrics, smooth countertops, or warm door handles can communicate comfort, hygiene, and attention to detail. Meanwhile, rough and cold material may suggest the uh, sterility or even neglect. In retail or hospitality, intentional use of texture can guide the emotion response. Cozy textile encourages people to drill longer, while polished surface can imply the for professionalism. Also, let's think about a transitional touch point like check-in counter, elevator button, or service trays. They are often overlooked, but they can dramatically influence the customer comfort and trust. A clean, well-designed, tactily, tactily pleasant environment reinforces the brand value, be it warmth, elegance, simplicity, or care. Touch transforms a neutral space into a multi-sensory experience that lingers. In product design, such as the customer first handshake with your brand, packaging and material texture communicate nonverbally. They shape how we feel about the brand before we even use the product. For instance, a matte uncoated paper bag may signal sustainability and simplicity, while a glossy metallic box might suggest luxury or cutting edge technology. Texture also affect the usability. The ergonomic curves, soft touch finish, or texture grips makes the products easier and more enjoyable to handle. This increases both practical satisfaction and emotional attachment. Let's consider skin care packaging like smooth and uh, velvety finishes imply gentleness and care, while a rough sandpaper like container may feel off-putting. The texture become a pre-usage promise, a haptic review of what the brand stands for, and importantly, when textures are inconsistent with the expectations, customer may feel confused or even betrayed. This might touch a strategic design tool, not just decorative element. But why touch as inherently physical? Modern technology is finding way to stimulate tactile sensation digitally. You can think about smartphone when you type or tap a button and feel a slight vibration. That haptic feedback is give a sense of physical interaction even though you're touching glass. Now imagine a augmented or virtual reality user can touch the virtual objects using special light glows or ultrasonic feedback. This technology is advancing fast, aiming to replicate real-world texture in digital environment. Even without physical touch, clever use visual texture and sound can stimulate tactile sensation. For example, some e-commerce sites use high-resolution texture combined with the subtle sound effect when hovering over product, creating that some researchers call the phantom touch. This is often the door of multi-sensory commerce, where brand engage multiple senses, visual, sound, and stimulated touch to reduce the uncertainty and boost the online conversion, and more experiences move online, replicating the trust and intimacy of touch will be key to brand differentiation and emotional engagement. Let's look at two powerful case studies of Apple and IKEA to understand how touch can become a uh, integral integral part of a brand identity. In Apple Store, everything you touch reinforces the brand's value. The cold brushed aluminum tables mirror uh, the MacBook materials, implying innovation and precision. Smooth glass surface feel frictionless, just like the iPhone screen. Even the product boxes have intentional resistance when opened and adding the suspense and delight. And in the contrast, the IKEA you touch to stimulate home and warmth when their showroom encourage you to sit, to lie down, to open drawer, physically interact with the products. Soft textiles, natural wood textures, and friendly fabrics signal uh, coziness and affordability. The tactile experience makes customer feel at home emotionally and also physically. And in both cases, touch is a consistent sensory code. It's reinforced the brand promise not through advertising but through direct bodily interaction. And importantly, this type of brand experience is hand to replicate, making a competitive advantage. And as with any powerful tool, we must ask, is touch in marketing always ethical? Touch can influence the decision subconsciously. For example, heavier packaging often make a product feel more premium, even if it's not. The soft fabric might increase the perceived comfort and value, but when these signals are used to mask low quality, and it's become manipulation. Another issue is inclusivity. When some individuals, like those with sensory processing disorder or autism, might find certain texture overwhelming or even painful, brands need to think beyond the maturity and consider the diverse tactile sensitivity. There are also questions of um, consent and intimacy. Touch is personal. Unwanted haptic prompts like vibration or tactile advertising may cross boundaries. So while tactile marketing is powerful, it must be transparent, respectful, and inclusive. Like any form of persuasion, it carries the ethical responsibility. So, to wrap up, what have we learned? Touch is not just about comfort or function. It is a strategic marketing tool that shape how customer feel, trust, and also decide whether it's the warm warmth of a Baltic unique or slick click of a laptop or the vibration of a mobile app, touch connect on a primal level. It's work across three dominants. First is in service environment is build comfort and care. Second is the in the product design, assess expectation and build emotional attachment. And last one is in digital phase, it's being stimulated to bring in humanity into technology. And as we move toward an you know era of uh, multisensory experiences, touch will remain central, not just how we market, but how we build the relationship with the customer. So next time when you desire service a product or an interface as yourself, that's what does it feel like to my customer. And that answer might shape their memory far more than you can realize. Then that is also the end of my presentation about sensory marketing, about the smell and touch. Thank you for your attention and see you in the next chapter of sensory marketing.